I handed him the gun out the backseat of the car.
16-year-old Charleston White took the stand and testified against his friend, Antoine Doolittle, who sat just a few feet from him and listened intently.
A nigga said, we saw the snitch video. So everybody saw it. It's been on the news before. Just cause you saw it, you still broke. It don't change nothing. You still broke. I'm still rich. I'm still getting booked. It don't change nothing. Everybody's seen it before you seen it. It used to be on the news. I keep telling y'all, I made the news before. All what y'all doing, people I already seen.
Doolittle is accused of down 34-year-old Michael Levy of Irving. Levy attempted to stop Doolittle, White, and 2 other teenagers accused of shoplifting 3 sports jackets and a baseball cap from an Arlington mall in September of 1991.
50 Cent just went off on Charleston White after some wild new footage hit the internet. The clip, which spread like wildfire, supposedly shows Charleston in a sit-down with law enforcement, dropping names and pointing out street figures like he's reading from a list. Insiders say that convo was never meant to see daylight, but once it leaked, the streets lit up. And 5th, he didn't waste a second. He hopped on Instagram and blasted Charleston, saying, "I knew dude wasn't built for this. All that tough talk was just a front, and now we got the receipts." 50 didn't stop there. He doubled down with a full video montage running back Charleston White's wildest and most controversial moments. But this time, he slapped captions all over it, branding him a fraud and calling him the loudest snitch in the room. Charleston White, for real, built his whole brand off being raw and unapologetic, spitting wild rants and stirring the pot with his hot takes on street culture. He's made a name for himself by calling out rappers, gangs, and even so-called fake activists, never backing down from controversy. But this new footage might have just cracked the mask wide open, exposing the contradiction behind Charleston's tough persona. And with 50 Cent stepping in and putting fuel on the fire, the fallout only got bigger. Now fans and critics are both looking at Charleston sideways, questioning if his credibility was all just smoke and mirrors. Charleston still hasn't come out and fully addressed the leak, but his silence is already speaking louder than words. And with 50 applying pressure, you know this story is far from finished. Cause when 5th gets going, he doesn't let up. He's never been the type to stay quiet in the face of controversy. And right now, Charleston White is dead center in his crosshairs. To make it worse, a resurfaced news clip just popped back up online showing Charleston testifying in court against an old friend from his past. The internet wasted no time running with it, sparking fresh backlash across every platform. The decades-old footage appears to show White laying out how his associate was tied to a deadly altercation. In the resurfaced clip, Charleston pointed the finger at his own friend Antoine Doolittle, claiming he was the one who took Michael Levy's life during an attempted robbery at a department store back in 1991. That revelation hit hard, and it's got people questioning White's authenticity, especially in communities where the code of silence is everything. The backlash came fast. And now with 50 Cent jumping in, the fire around Charleston White is only burning hotter. But Charleston White, he looks unfazed, straight up defiant. Instead of backing down, he's laughing off the accusations and clapping back at anybody questioning his integrity. Still, the real questions remain. What exactly went down in 1991? Why is this story coming back to life now? And maybe most importantly, what's 50 Cent's true motive in shining a spotlight on this decades-old footage? Here's the breakdown. When Michael Levy tried to step in during the robbery, everything spiraled. As clothes were being tossed out the department store window, Antoine Doolittle pulled a gun and turned the scene tragic.
Witnesses say Levy pounded on their windshield until the teens threw the jackets out the car window. Then Doolittle supposedly shot him in the back as Levy walked away.
She said, "Look, you shot."
What did he do?
Started laughing.
Dreams of my Prince Charming. I found him. And it's hard to believe, but I did. And I believe in fairy tales because he made my dreams come true. And they took that away.
A victim, which was a Caucasian man by the name of Michael Levy. I was sentenced to 12 years under Texas juvenile determined sentencing law. My 3 co-defendants, all of them was tried as adults. They were 15 and older. I was 14. So I went into a boys' home that was co-ed with boys and girls. So I spent my entire teenage life from 14 to 21 in the boys' home. When I got out at 21, my record was sealed, so there's no record of me ever being in trouble for that.
So everybody saw it. It's been on the news before. Just cause you saw it, you still broke. It don't change nothing. You still broke. I'm still rich. I'm still getting booked. It don't change nothing. You think they gonna stop booking me? You think they gonna stop interviewing me? You think people gonna stop? Nah, you still gonna be poor, and I'm still gonna be rich and famous. So what? Why you think I told? I don't give a damn. I ain't friends with nobody.
If it is, I hope it is, I want to snitch. I want to snitch, I want to tell, whatever they call telling, snitching, I want to do it. And I want to make it cool to do it.
Firing the shot that ended Michael's life. Charleston White was right there when it all went down, but he claimed he was just a bystander. Still, when the case hit the courtroom, he took the stand and pointed straight at his own associate. Under oath, White admitted he was the one who handed Doolittle the gun before the shooting, then laid out the chilling conversation they had after the fatal encounter. According to the courtroom records, Doolittle barely showed any remorse, leaving the story darker than anyone expected. According to reports from the Times, Charleston remembered his associate laughing about it, casually saying, "Look, I shot him." That cold reaction only made the tragedy cut deeper. Michael Levy's death left a permanent scar, especially for his wife. They had only been married 4 days before the shooting ripped their future away. But the fallout didn't stop with Antoine Doolittle. Charleston's testimony stretched further. He took the stand against 3 more individuals tied to the case, giving up information that helped lock them down too. And while his cooperation with prosecutors didn't wipe his slate clean, it did reshape his fate. In the end, White was hit with 12 years behind bars for his role in the crime, a sentence that marked a turning point, one that would shadow him for decades. Meanwhile, his co-defendants faced even harsher consequences. And it was all thanks to his courtroom testimony. Even though 12 years behind bars sounds heavy, Charleston ultimately walked away with a sealed record, wiping his slate clean, something many saw as a major advantage in the justice system. But when that old trial footage resurfaced, the internet exploded. Social media lit up with criticism, branding Charleston a snitch and reigniting debates about loyalty, accountability, and whether working with law enforcement can ever be justified, especially in communities where silence is sacred. Still, Charleston didn't flinch. In fact, he doubled down. Dropping a response video online, he mocked the outrage, laughing it off like the whole thing was entertainment instead of a stain on his reputation. Charleston brushed off the backlash like it was nothing but background noise. He made it clear the controversy wasn't gonna touch his brand or his career. Matter of fact, he even joked about flipping the whole ordeal into a stage routine, turning snitching into stand-up, and when pressed about regrets, he said he had none. According to him, he didn't have friends back then. And if he faced the same situation today, he'd do it all over again without hesitation. For Charleston, loyalty ends the moment survival kicks in. That mindset keeps fueling outrage and debate, especially in a culture that treats street codes as sacred. But Charleston's words and actions show he's never bought into that code. Instead, he's pushing a whole different ideology, one rooted in legality, self-preservation, and civic responsibility. Even if it means cooperating with the system or exposing criminal ties, Charleston doesn't sugarcoat it. He flat out says he's not going to jail out of loyalty or brotherhood. In his own words, "We're all criminals and crooks." That mentality ties straight into his bigger narrative. Self-preservation and legal responsibility come first, way before silence or solidarity. And he's not shy about it either. In another viral interview, Charleston proudly claimed he's a citizen now, saying, "I'm a police-minded individual. I go vote. I'm literally an election judge." So at the end of the day, Charleston White is standing firm on his version of loyalty, and 50 Cent is making sure the world doesn't forget his past. The debate isn't slowing down anytime soon, and this clash between street codes and self-preservation is only heating up. If you're rocking with the breakdown and want to stay locked in on stories like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next one.